live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the pilgrims were good to Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this. I want you to read the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody.
brother works for Apple, so he's like, I can get you 20%. Because I'm about ready to almost say goodbye to this one.
Peace, family. Y'all do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. Rep your city, rep your town. If you want to hear the audio, you know what you got to do at the beginning of the program. You got to go to WTCC FM, tune in, iHeart, because Facebook will trip and turn the stream off every time I play Coltrane. So give me a few minutes and we'll get some music on that y'all can vibe to. In the meantime, rep your city, rep your town. All right, y'all? Let's get it. Got a good subject this morning. I see you, Houston. Always repping. Good subject this morning, y'all, so stay close. All right, now, let me get Instagram on here. All right. Let's do this. Let's get the gram live. Peace to the gram. Okay, the gram's not letting me go live. Oh, boy, here we go with the nonsense. So the gram won't let me go live, even though there's supposed to be no restrictions on my account. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. Let me see what's happening here. Oh, yeah. They're restricting me from going live, even though I'm not supposed to have any restrictions on my account. All right. So Instagram is playing games with your boy. So I can't get my Instagrammers on. We'll just have to go with what we got. Rep your city, rep your town. So this says I can use all Instagram features. Y'all see that, right? Yet they won't let me go live on Instagram. All right, y'all. Let's get it. I'm dealing with them comparing the student protests to the January 6th insurrectionists. Tell a friend, tell somebody Bishop is on the air. Let me get my Twitter space on here live. Gotta at least do that especially since Instagram is tripping.
The essence of life is growth, but the essence of growth is change. The being in the road will be the end of the road if you refuse to change. Your life will never change until you get disgusted with where you are. Whatever you don't hate,
all right.
What you tolerate. You must learn.
Twitter space is live. YouTube is live. Facebook is live. Instagram is playing games.
So break the cycle that doing enough is simply good enough. You only get out what you put in, so don't settle for the crumbs when you can have the whole loaf. So push yourself beyond your limitations. Come on. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Come on. Don't stop. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. So you gotta break the routine of trying to beat the system. Manipulators will always try to bypass the process for the quick progress. There are no shortcuts to success. There are no elevators to the top. You gotta take it one step at a time. You gotta break the routine of allowing others to get into your head to control who you are and where you're going. You see, when you're about the positive, you're gonna always have haters. But don't let your haters push you down, let your haters push you forward to the next level. So when people show you who they really are, don't perceive them to be something else that they're not. See, a zebra does not change his stripes. So you gotta keep pushing yourself to the next level. Yeah, there you go. Come on. A little deeper. Come on. Yeah. Go a little further. Go a little further. Come on. Don't stop. Come on. Yeah. Reach a little higher. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Go a little further. Come on. Come on. Come on. You got to understand the greatness is the nature that you were born out of. You'll never discover your greatness without hard work and dedication. Greatness says more about who you are and what you expect for yourself. And greatness will always attract greatness. Show me your friends and I'll show you the future. The future. You just a step away. You just a step away. You just a step away. Don't ever give up. Come on. You just a step away. You're almost there.
Now they won't even let me report it. Well, I'm telling you, Instagram is a whole trip.
No valley too low. You can go where you want to go. It's all in the power of your imagination. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. So stretch yourself. Take yourself to the next level. Come on, come on, come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Come on, come on, come on. Don't stop. Come on. Reach a little higher. Dig a little deeper. Go a little further. Don't stop.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to the Black Love Experience. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II. And it's good to be with you on another Friday morning, TGIF. Thank God it is Friday. I want to thank Deacon Ernie Johnson for bringing us up until the 9 o'clock hour. You can hear him and Minister or Elder Rick Robb every Friday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the best in gospel music. Good morning to each and every one of you in the Pioneer Valley. Everyone who's listening on social media, in our YouTube, our Twitter space, our Facebook. We can't get on Instagram because they're playing games with my account. They removed a post the other day where I posted a Zionist boxer spitting on a black woman at UCLA who was protesting the genocide in Gaza. Then they put it back up and said I didn't violate the rules, but they still have my account restricted, even though I didn't violate the rules. So, if you point out anti-black racism, they restrict your account. I'm telling you, IG, Meta, Facebook, y'all are a trip. Y'all are a whole trip. 413-736-2781. So there's been this crazy comparison that has been happening. The president, Biden, Al Sharpton, others, comparing college students protesting against Israel's genocide of Palestinians with the January 6th insurrectionists. Crazy gaslighting. Crazy gaslighting. I mean, and here's the thing. I said to somebody this morning, you're on the wrong side of an issue when the white supremacists are running to agree with you. Reverend Al, you're on the wrong side of an issue when the white supremacists who normally call you a grifter, who normally call you a race hustler, and all kinds of other pejoratives, are running to agree with you. There's a problem. There's a whole problem. 413-736-2781. Tell a friend, tell somebody Bishop is on the air. Do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you are chiming in from. We're going to get into this on the other side of this spoken word piece. Let's go. It's Friday morning.
You say you sold out because black women are loud and crass. What? And your precious white woman is the epitome of class? Are you so blind that you cannot see? That pale girl child ain't got nothing on me. For hundreds of years we have stood by your side, accepted your flaws and allowed you your pride, bore your children and cleaned up your mess, satisfied your lust and always settled for less. We have stayed in the background and allowed you to lead, trusting in your strength and ability to succeed, never getting the praise and credit we deserve, but having the courage, the will, and the nerve, for being the backbone that has kept it together for you and our children in all kinds of weather. And now suddenly you say we're not good enough for you. We forced you to sell out because of the things we do. Well, where was that white woman when that white man you hate was cracking the whip? In the boardroom, the warehouse, and on the slave ship. She stood by his side and didn't say a word, waiting for her own chance to rule and be heard. And now it's her you turn to and treat like a queen? And me and my sisters you choose to demean? Well, hold up, wait a minute, and stop the damn bus. Because there are a few things I need to remind you about us. Listen up. A more beautiful creature God never made than an African woman, no matter her shade. High, yellow, red bone, or cocoa brown, we are more than worthy of wearing a crown. Ebony, mocha, or black as the night, it is we who have always shared in your plight. We are passionate, spiritual, loving, and kind. A more generous heart you'll never find than the one that beats inside the body of a Nubian queen, the hardest working, loving, giving woman you've ever seen. For we give and forgive until there's little left. Then we're forced to put up our guard to avoid your theft. The theft of our hearts and our trust, the very nature of our soul, by our so-called brothers who are just playing a role. And you wonder why some of us act as we do? Take a look in the mirror, because the answer is you. It's not enough that the white man has always tried to keep us down, but our own men act as though they'd love to see us drown. And white women have never invited us to join their equal rights struggle. So we're out here alone with a million things we juggle, raising the children that black men leave behind, and dealing with the racism of the daily corporate grind. Damn, it's no wonder some of us are loud. Hell, we're just trying to be heard. In a world where everyone, including our men, ignore our every word. Where are the brothers who understand a black woman's worth? Right here, who will protect and stand by us, for we are the salt of this earth. We birthed you, raised you, and showered you with love. It was we who taught you to love your creator above. We gave you all we had and taught you to be men. Open your eyes, it is us, your black sisters, not Bo Derek's kind who rate a perfect 10. And one final word for the sellout to claim to be brothers. When you turn your back on us, you disrespect your mothers. Did you hear that? This is a response to the sellout.
90.7 WTCC. That is a response to the sellout. And y'all know who you are. All sellouts, raise your hand. Anyway, you know who you are. And there's folks selling out oppressed people across the world. And y'all really selling out when you're actually comparing college students who are consciously stepping up against colonialism, against genocide, against apartheid, and you're comparing them with January 6th insurrectionists. Now listen, it really doesn't matter whether you agree with whether or not these students should be protesting or not. Okay, and I get it, You know, particularly those of you who think black students should not be involved in this. I happen to not agree with that. However, the one thing that you have to agree with, if you are a person of reason, if you are a person of consciousness, is that it is irresponsible to try to compare the students who have been on these college campuses protesting with the January 6th insurrection. That is an irresponsible comparison. I don't care who's making it. I don't care who's making it. It's an irresponsible comparison. From President Biden to Al Sharpton to whoever is making this comparison. And, you know, I rocks with Sharpton. He and I have worked together on many things. We've shared stages together. We work in tandem on several fronts. But he's wrong on this. He's wrong on this. And, there should never be enough money thrown at you to where you compromise your integrity to be quiet while a genocide is happening, or to find yourself on the wrong side of history when it comes to condemning murder and genocide. There should not be enough money for future generations to review your legacy and to find that you were on the wrong side of a genocide. And make no mistakes, that's what's happening in Gaza. That's what's been happening since October 7th. And shout out to all of these conscious kids across the nation that have stood up on their college campuses to be counted on the right side of history. Every generation has its opportunity. My parents' generation, they stood up on college campuses and protested against the Vietnam War. In my generation, and I was one of those student activists on the campus of UMass who stood up protesting against apartheid in South Africa, forcing our college to divest from South Africa. This generation is protesting the genocide in Gaza and trying to force their institutions to divest from any businesses that support the genocide, that support Israel, that provide weapons, that provide resources so they can continue the genocide. Every generation has an opportunity to let its voice be heard and to be on the right side of history. America is on the wrong side of this. Just like America was on the wrong side of the Vietnam War. Just like America for many years was on the wrong side of apartheid in South Africa. America always finds itself on the wrong side of history. And this is no different. And notice, if you will, the divergent responses of the American policing system. You have white supremacists and Nazis in the streets of Nashville and Wisconsin and various places across the country, and you have limited or no police response at all. I posted something to my social media, video clips of armed Nazis. Armed Nazis carrying rifles, waving flags with swastikas, and chanting, "There will be blood, blood, blood." Okay? This is what they were doing 5 months ago on the campus of the University of Wisconsin. And what did the police do? Absolutely nothing. You couldn't find them with a flashlight. This white supremacist group calls themselves the Blood Tribe.
Okay? And they were chanting, Israel is not our friend, and there will be blood, blood, blood. Now, how much more anti-Semitic can you get? The police did nothing. The U.S. government said nothing. Joe Biden didn't come out and do a press conference condemning that. Kamala Harris didn't come out and do a press conference condemning that. They didn't send the National Guard to the University of Wisconsin. They didn't send the local police to the University of Wisconsin. But these kids, see, and this is what I'm trying to let y'all know. It's not even just the issue. Yes, the issue is important. What Israel is doing in Gaza. But it also hinges on who the protesters are. So when you have all white males carrying rifles and swastika flags and speaking against Israel, that's cool. But when you have young college kids, black and brown in particular, and liberal and progressive white kids protesting Israel, now it's time to send out the police in riot gear. Carrying automatic weapons with rubber bullets. Now it's time to tear gas folks and beat folks and drag them off the campus. Good morning, caller. Okay. Now it's time for a robust police response. Interesting. Then they want to divorce further context that the clashes that you see are instigated by the police response, by over-aggressive policing, dragging these kids up off the ground, throwing them to the ground, tear gassing them, all of this. They are causing the pandemonium. As well as Zionist provocateurs who are trespassing on these campuses. Okay? David Kaminsky, the boxer, the dude who trained Michael B. Jordan for his role in the Creed movie, was on the campus of UCLA antagonizing protesters and using racial slurs. See, this is why y'all got to understand these white folks that be around black people that don't mean they're not racist. Because on his Instagram and other places before he took it all down, he was posing with Michael B. Jordan and all that stuff, but he was on UCLA's campus talking about, do something, you BA nigga. You BA nigga. And then spit on a black person. But this is the guy who would tell you, I'm not racist. I got black friends. I trained Michael B. Jordan. But he's on campus calling people an itch a nigga and spitting on them. So you have people like this. Then the other Zionists who abused another black woman on a college campus, pushing her to the ground like a thug. So you have these Zionist provocateurs attacking these kids, grown men, grown white men, full grown, 30 and 40-year-old white men out here beating on 20-year-old black female college students. But the popo ain't out here arresting them. I haven't heard the news yet of David Kaminsky being arrested. Somebody look that up. See if David Kaminsky's been arrested yet. He's caught on film spitting on somebody. But you're arresting college students, but not the Zionist provocateurs. Come on, man. Come on. Unarmed, peaceful protesters. I don't care what Joe Biden said. Right now, Joe Biden's word means absolutely nothing. He's a puppet of Israel. Bottom line, we are the United States of Israel right now. So he came out condemning the protesters, saying, I'm always going to stand for free speech. Destroying property is not peaceful. Attacking people is not peaceful. Doing this is not peaceful. Doing that is not peaceful. And he's talking about everything that the cops are doing, everything that the provocateurs are doing, but he's blaming it on the students. Gaslighting. Benji Netanyahu has Joe Biden in his hip pocket. And then y'all, and I get, are nervous about a potential Trump presidency. We all are. But here's the problem. Instead of telling Biden to shut up and get his stuff together, and the Democrats to get their stuff together, y'all are blaming the disaffected voters who are tired of an administration that is supporting genocide. Y'all are blaming them for expressing their frustration and their likelihood to not support this administration, instead of blaming the administration for the positions that it is taking, the stances that it is taking. When you gonna hold them accountable? Out here railing against people expressing their frustration. Yeah, but Trump wouldn't do no better. That don't comfort nobody. That doesn't provide any solace to anybody. Oh, well, we know Biden is supporting murder and mayhem, but Trump would do the same thing. Okay, so what y'all telling us? That we should accept a U.S. government and administration that funds genocide just because the other guy would do the same thing? Are y'all listening to yourselves? Are you listening to yourselves? That's like telling a woman, an abusive relationship, you might as well stay in this abusive relationship because, that other guy over there that you were interested in, he would beat you too. when y'all gonna deal with the administration instead of trying to castigate those of us who have the intestinal fortitude and the temerity to speak the truth? Y'all are more uncomfortable with people like me telling the truth about what this administration is doing than y'all are about what the administration is doing. Oh, don't talk about, don't say nothing about them funding genocide. Don't say nothing about them sending another $26 billion to fund genocide. The experts have said that it would take $25 billion to end hunger in America. 25 billion. They said with $25 billion, they could end hunger in America. But America is sending $26 billion to Israel to continue a genocide. And people like me are wrong for pointing that out. Not the government is wrong for doing it. Y'all matter at me for talking about it than you are at the Biden administration for doing it. So Uncle Joe is really out here gaslighting about what these college students are doing. He's really out here trying to claim that these college students are tantamount to January 6th insurrectionists. Let me let you hear what Uncle Joe had to say. If I can find the video. If I can find the video, I'm going to let you hear what Uncle Joe had to say about the college protests, because it is a stark difference between what I've seen. I've seen the police going buck wild. I've seen them throwing college professors to the ground and all of that kind of stuff.
About what's going on our college campuses here.
Here we go.
We've all seen the images, and they put to the test two fundamental American principles. Excuse me. The first is the right to free speech and for people to peacefully assemble and make their voices heard. The second is the rule of law. Both must be upheld. We are not an authoritarian nation where we silence people or squash dissent. The American people are heard. In fact, peaceful protest is in the best tradition of how Americans respond to consequential issues. But neither are we a lawless country. We're a civil society, and order must prevail. Throughout our history, we've often faced moments like this because we are a big, diverse, free-thinking, and freedom-loving nation. In moments like this, there are always those who rush in to score political points. But this isn't a moment for politics. It's a moment for clarity. So let me be clear. Peaceful protest in America. Violent protest is not protected. Peaceful protest is. It's against the law when violence occurs. Destroying property is not a peaceful protest. It's against the law. Vandalism, trespassing, breaking windows, shutting down campuses, forcing the cancellation of classes and graduations. None of this is a peaceful protest. Threatening people, intimidating people, instilling fear in people is not peaceful protest. It's against the law. Dissent is essential to democracy, but dissent must never lead to disorder or to denying the rights of others so students can finish the semester and their college education. Look, it's basically a matter of fairness. It's a matter of what's right. There's the right to protest, but not the right to cause chaos. People have the right to get an education, the right to get a degree, the right to walk across the campus safely without fear of being attacked. But let's be clear about this as well. There should be no place on any campus, no place in America for anti-Semitism or threats of violence against Jewish students. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism.
Now let's just be clear. Let's be clear. These students are not on these campuses threatening Jewish students. It's not happening. They are protesting apartheid and genocide in Gaza. They are not threatening Jewish students. They are not attacking Jewish students. They aren't attacking anyone. There are people coming onto the campuses attacking them. Mostly Jewish extremists, Zionists, anti-protesters, counter-protesters are coming on to, they're the ones trespassing on the campuses. The students pay tuition, or their parents pay for them to be there. The Zionist counter-protesters are trespassing on the campus, Uncle Joe. And you're really out here gaslighting the student protesters. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah. Hey, Bishop, you know, when there is a protest, they are rules and laws for the police that even observing the protest. The street can be full of people, both lanes, going either direction. Okay. The police is supposed to stay on the sidewalk in a line, marching with the people until they stop and disperse in the group or whatever. But if the protesters stay in the line, stay in that group and continue one direction, the police is supposed to stay on the side.
Okay, well, that's definitely not what the police are doing. The police are dragging the kids up off the ground. I mean, these kids are setting up tents on the grass, encampments, peacefully protesting. The cops are dragging them up. Zionist counter-protesters are trespassing onto the campus. This is where your chaos is starting. These kids aren't on campus threatening their fellow Jewish students. They aren't on campus vandalizing property. They aren't on campus doing any of this stuff. It's just like during the Black Lives Matter protests when you had provocateurs, and they've got video footage of provocateurs that have nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter protesters busting out windows and all kinds of stuff so that they can call the BLM protests violent. And Joe Biden is helping to push this false narrative. But he wants your vote. Good morning, caller.
Yes. Listen, they are trying to discourage. Those kids have a right to protest. They are trying to discourage the protesters, people from gathering protesting.
Absolutely. That's absolutely what they're doing, and we absolutely have a right to protest. Appreciate your call. Yeah, so Joe was gaslighting, and then the good reverend Oh man. The good reverend compared uh, the college protesters with January 6th. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, and and had to get corrected while he was on the air. Had to get corrected. Um, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Because she comes out and says, "Good Lord, don't compare it to January 6th." Let's listen. Let's.
Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th.
Yeah, she says, "Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th." Listen to Sharpton.
Let me say this: the politics of that, what is being robbed by them not doing that, Joe, where you and I agree. How do the Democrats, how do all of us on that side say January 6th was wrong if you can have the same pictures going on college
Good
campus?
Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th.
You lose
For
the
some
moral
reason,
high
that's
ground.
that has
happened, though.
Okay,
That has
just
happened.
so we know what's going on here, just the latest from the AP, and then we're going to go live to the
Now, it's a
scene.
shame that she got to tell the Reverend, "Good Lord, don't make a parallel with January 6th." So let's be clear. Let's be clear. Students protesting the indiscriminate murder of 45,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, protesting the shutting off of water and electricity, the starving of 2 million innocent civilians, protesting blocking humanitarian aid, medical attention coming into Gaza to help the people that have been besieged, protesting real life genocide, are not the same as white supremacist insurrectionists mad because Donald Trump lost an election, grabbing pipe bombs, grenades, tear gas, guns, and other weapons, and storming the U.S. Capitol, breaking in through windows and doors, murdering police officers, spreading their feces throughout the building, trying to overthrow the government and trying to overturn an election and nullify the votes of millions of black voters. One is not the same as the other. Not even close. And it is irresponsible to even make such a comparison. It's shameful to make such a comparison. It's pathetic to make such a comparison. Man, I'm telling you. APAC, the ADL, has so many of our people in their pocket. It's pathetic. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, a whole lot of your members of the Congressional Black Caucus and other folks are in their pockets, which is why you've seen their silence on this whole issue. And those who haven't been silenced have been vocally in support of Israel's position, like Hakeem Jeffries, the leading Democrat in the House. If the Democrats controlled the House, Hakeem Jeffries would be the Speaker of the House. And this is the guy who goes to the pro-Israel march at the nation's capital to speak about Israel having a right to defend itself and ignoring the fact that they had murdered tens of thousands of innocent civilians. Just follow the money. What was the movie with Jerry Maguire or something? Show me the money. Follow the money. Follow the money and see how much AIPAC has provided to these legislators. And you'll understand exactly why they've taken the positions that they've taken. And it's a shame if you are a Black student on campus exercising your right to free speech, to the freedom of assembly, and you see these in your mind as a young person, iconic Black political and cultural figures condemning you. That's got to be disheartening. I know it would have been disheartening to me, and perhaps because we didn't have the proliferation of social media and such as we have today. Back in the 80s when I was at UMass, it would have been disheartening for me to have jumped on social media while we were protesting apartheid in South Africa on our campus. It would have been disheartening to see someone of the caliber of an Al Sharpton or a Hakeem Jeffries condemning us. That would have been disheartening. So I know these college students have to feel that way, which is why we need to support them. Exactly why we need to support them. They are stepping up. They are seeing through the nonsense. They are not playing games with it. They know colonialism when they see it. They know wrong when they see it. And they are speaking out and speaking up, and I'm proud of them. And I stand 10 toes down with them. Bottom line. Bottom line, I stand 10 whole toes down with these student protesters. Let me see if I can play this song without Facebook shutting down my stream. I don't know if I can or not, but we'll see. There's a genocide in Gaza, y'all. And no amount of gaslighting is going to change that.
Imagine if that was your child or your mama. Is that Hitler? Is that Stalin? There's a genocide going on in Gaza. Palestinians getting shot and getting bombed up. Imagine if that was your child or your mama. Is that Hitler? Is that Stalin? How many more innocent children need to be slaughtered? Imagine if that was your son or was your daughter. They just cut electricity plus food and water. We beg for mercy, they dropping bombs even harder. Now I understand what makes them martyr. Imagine if they killed your family, all that hate you harbor. You wouldn't want to call for peace, you want to take it further. Gaza has no military They got no armor.
Listen, if you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts. The Brick Church right there at Six Corners. 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday morning, prayer, praise, and preaching. We're building better tomorrows by changing lives today. Would love to see you in the sanctuary worshiping with us. I'll be back with you Monday morning on the spoken word. Tune in. I'm sure there'll be some stuff happening over this weekend. But listen, let's support these college students that are being the conscience of our nation right now. While we have some of our seasoned folks out here tap dancing for Israel, for the ADL and for APAC and all that stuff. Big D is coming up next with mid-morning jazz and great black music. She's sitting in for Don Felton, but I'm sure she's going to make it smooth and personal for you. So stay tuned right here on WTCC. I'm going to get out your way. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember, God loves you, and so do I.
Good. Purple rain falling down on the branch of the coast where the sun shines all year round. Purple haze over landscape, still I hydrate in the lunch.
How are you?
It's smog and clouds, start me out. This song's in the key of life, and love is in need of more. Young from Inglewood, barefoot on the cedar floor. If black music is the blood, then my heart has been beating more. Rapidly, happily, I look back on the Feeny Shakur. Her son paved the way. Now all eyes on me, cause I'm young, black, and gifted.